In this video, we're going to create a value that's based upon a fixed rate of change or a fixed percentage change. Keeping in mind that that percentage change can be an increase or it can also be a decrease. Now, for example, if I'm presently receiving $100 a week salary, and my boss comes in and tells me that effective next week, I'm going to receive an increase of 10% to my present salary, how I'd calculate that using a calculator is that I would type in 100 multiplied by 1 plus 0.10, the 1 signifying the present salary, the 0.10 signifying the 10% increase. Likewise, if the boss came in and told me I was going to receive a 20% increase in my pay, the formula I would use would be 100 multiplied by 1.20, which would give me a new salary of $120 per week. Next, what we're going to do is open up our file, and the name of that file is called Absolutes Rate of Change. After opening up the file, we want to scroll over, way over to the right, and we want to look at this formula right here. And this is the formula that we're going to be using to determine our rate of change. Basically, what it's saying here is the amount, or the present amount, multiplied by the quantity, which means open parenthesis 1 plus the rate of change. Now that rate of change is going to be up here in cell R1. And the real trick here is to make sure that that rate of change, which is always going to be located in cell R1, we need to make that value an absolute. For instance, if I look at this first formula here, and if I double left click it, what I'm going to see is that our formula is showing A2, which is way over here, multiplied by, open parenthesis, 1 plus, here's my rate of change, which is R1. But what we notice with that R1, we have a $sign R and a $1. So in other words, we're always looking up for that rate of change in that cell R1. That's why we made it an absolute. We made it an absolute by tapping F4. So let's come over here and let's kind of work through our example. Here's our current values, 100, 200, all the way down. We're going to be looking at a 10% increase. So we want to see what the new amount will be. It's a formula, equal sign. Click over here on the A2, multiplied by, open parenthesis, 1 plus our rate of change, which is in cell R1. So we're going to click R1, come over here, and we need to change that R1 and make it show as an absolute. And how we're going to show it as an absolute is by tapping F4. By tapping F4, we can now see that there's a $sign before the R and a $sign before the 1. It means that that cell R1 is locked in. close parenthesis, hit the check mark or hit enter. The amount should be 110, the same as over here. I'm going to verify my formula by quickly double left clicking. And what I'm seeing, A2 multiplied by open parenthesis 1 plus R1, keeping in mind that that R1 is an absolute. Come to our fill handle and copy that pattern down. Let's look at that last one here. A11 multiplied by 1 plus R1. So in other words, I mean, see the real trick here is the fact that we've locked in that value that's in R1. That value is our rate of change. It could be an increase. It can also be a decrease. Now the beauty of this formula is that it's very easy to change the various rates of change. All I have to do is say, okay, if we're going to get a 20% rate of change, all I have to do is just make a change right here in R1 and change that from 10% to 20%. And everything is all changed in all the other cells. Also, we can actually show a decrease, a change that's representing a negative number. So if we're losing 10%, I could come in here and change that R1 to minus 10. I just made it 20. It should be minus 10. And once again, we can see that the formula has picked everything up. So it's a tremendously strong formula. It's something that you can use all the time. You know, where you're always creating or really looking at rates of change. They could be increases, they could be decreases. And the value of Excel is that you can look at all different scenarios, all types of what-ifs, and just change that one cell value, because our formula is always looking at this R1. It's always looking at R1, and because it's always looking at R1, we can see that we've locked in, we've made R1 into an absolute. Thank you.